Reopening measures are slowly taking place amid the coronavirus pandemic. Malls and restaurants are working again, and factories move more and more of their personnel back into the offices. However, that doesn't mean that people won't get sick anymore. On the contrary, there are now many more chances of spreading the virus even farther. To protect the employees and clients of your business, we developed thermocontrol screening stations. It is a quick and safe solution. Thermocontrol measures temperature at a distance of 25 centimeters. The device is autonomous. It does not require an additional employee to conduct temperature measurements or log the results. It can measure and even recognize masked faces. All of the results are logged automatically and stored in the database. You can use the station to ensure your clients and employees access to your building automatically.
John Smith, Robot.
The station can issue entrance passes and grant access to the building after it measured the person's temperature. If the visitor's temperature is high, a notification will be sent and a potential carrier of the virus can't access the building. Thermocontrol can send SMS and messenger notifications, as well as notifications over email. Temperature measurement technologies allow businesses to ensure the safety of people and potentially save lives all over the world.
Folks, it is that time of the week. This is the Marketplace Reset, live on WSDX 970 AM and live on the Kalulu Network, live on La Mega Mundial, live also on various social media, and rebroadcasting on Tempo Network Television. I'm Anthony Weeks, and I will be joined shortly by my colleague. But real quickly, just want to give you a quick update as to where things are at with COVID-19. As of 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 7, 2020, the leading economic indicator is the virus. More than one analyst has put it to us this way as we try to understand and quantify this unprecedented global economic collapse and now the attempted restart. We're following the key matrix of the COVID-19 and the broader economy. Here are the numbers. The U.S. COVID-19 death reported yesterday was 635. That number is rising. U.S. COVID-19 new cases yesterday was 38,696. That number is rising. Daily new tests reported in the United States, 1.1 million. That number is rising. COVID-19 patients now in hospital is 31,346. That number is rising. Restaurants, seated diners yesterday, open table, down 45% below last year. A gallon of gas, according to U.S. data, U.S. average is $2.18 and rising. Mortgage applications last week was up 4.6% over a previous week. Job posting, Indeed.com, reported October 20 to October 29, between October 20 and 2019. Jobs posting is down at 16.4%. And percent of likely voters in a Quinnipiac poll who said they trusted the CDC scientists more than Trump when it comes to coronavirus information is 70%. Education sector jobs openings we're looking at job openings drop more between K-12 and post-secondary education. This number, keep in mind, tally of the COVID-19 cases represent only the ones that are documented. And that's pretty much for the what's happening on the headlines. Let me go straight to my colleagues, Linda and Carolyn. Let's bring them up on the screen. Ladies, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. You notice something a little different?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see you guys are in different locations.
Yes.
How are you?
I actually miss sitting next to my partner in my purple chair.
I know. See the purple chair. And I'm sitting on her side of the table, and I usually sit on the other side. But we're just going to rock and roll. We're being coronavirus safe. We decided to demonstrate that, but also we are women on the beat. So we have some things that we're working on that create not able to. So we're just women on the beat. But Anthony, those statistics are really daunting. In the DMV, the District of Columbia, Virginia, and Maryland, we are just seeing an ongoing, continual uptick, and it's very daunting. Carolyn and I reside in Maryland, in the actual county of Prince George's County, where that's the highest caseload for COVID-19 infections in the state of Maryland. Virginia has the highest in the region. So it's very, very daunting to hear the national statistics, but even more so to know what's happening right here in our backyard. And technology and data warehousing and data management and capturing is such an important topic that we're so glad to have our special guest today.
Absolutely. And
Just FYI, I don't see your guest. Your guest is not in queue yet, so just to give you a heads up, I don't see them yet. All
can
right.
you hear me clearly, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm getting some kind of echo though. So if you're on speaker, take off the speaker, please.
I'm not on speaker.
Okay, there you go. Okay, it's gone now. I don't hear it anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Well, I'm hearing. Yeah, something is going on weird there.
It certainly is, and I don't know what it is. So maybe Linda will talk. Linda, you can.
Well, I hear you just perfectly fine. I just hear you great. And I'm hoping that will be the case. I'm just so surprised that my technology is holding up, quite frankly, because
I know, right?
Carolyn's the technologist in terms of getting us connected. So I decided to go in she was so proud of me. I went in a full half an hour early and sat in the back, or 15 minutes rather, to sit in the back of the back office. But, those statistics, again, are so daunting. This past weekend, I literally had yet another test. This time, I wanted to experience what many Americans are experiencing or should be experiencing, and that is the testing that you use with the nose swab. And it was my daughter's 13 and my daughter, 14 and 15 also engaged. And I just think it's so important that everyone, if you can find a testing site that's easily to move forward and get your testing done. This happened to be a free testing in the District of Columbia down near the Kennedy Center. For those who are on and listening and know of that location, there were stations out there for the public to get their free testing. Safe, sanitary, great protocol for ensuring each patient was well taken care of, and most importantly, free of charge. So we can just say one thing as a public service announcement, that would be it. Let's all get our COVID tests.
The good news is, Linda, when they go to JumpStartEconomy.us,
yes,
literally at their fingertip, anywhere in the country, no matter what 50 state of the territory you're in, we will give you that. We have that information at your fingertips. So what depends on what state you're in, what territory you're in. When you go to www.jumpstarteconomy.us, you go to state status, and we give you a complete roadmap as to where you can get tested anywhere throughout the country.
Wow,
that's really important.
That's really awesome. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
So Anthony, it's interesting. So we're in Prince George's County, and Linda and I, our showroom office for the Orange Thermal Control, which you had the commercial for, we're literally less than 20 minutes from the White House if it's not rush hour. But I will tell you, in Prince George's County, as of today, we have 30,519 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Wow. And 126 deaths. And sometimes we read those numbers and it's like, I can remember when it was 800. It's 826. So when you consider the mental and emotional impact of that loss of life, and so even now, as of today, we have 4,031 hospitalizations. And it's not that either Linda or I are trying to be Debbie Downers or doom and gloom, but the reality is we cannot relax. We have all got to be vigilant in those things. We did not write the protocols of hand washing, wearing a mask, and even being tested. all of those precautions. We didn't write those, but we're very serious. We love life. We want our families and our friends safe. And so if we can say anything for everybody, don't get lax now. If anything, let's step up our game so that we can do the right thing and stay safe.
Well,
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
That's very important, because considering the influenza season hasn't officially started yet, so people can't afford to get relaxed and start dropping their guards down, because what's on the horizon is the perfect storm of COVID-19 and the influenza flu season. So that's upon us. And that's
just recently, Linda and I, we don't try to saturate ourselves with the news, but Linda is someone who does a lot of research very naturally. And so when I see an article, I immediately share it with her, even though she's probably already read it. And the CNN information that came out the other day, like 2 days ago, maybe even yesterday, the days go by so quickly, that said potentially we could see 2,900 Americans perish per day in the month of December. It's really frightening. And so these sobering facts make sense. So this whole program around resetting and jumpstarting, it's not throw caution to the wind. It's do the right thing, move in a very calculated way, a very strategic way around safety. There are ways to reopen, but they involve using a sound mind and paying attention to the data that is out there.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of data, I think our guest is here with us now.
No, I don't. No, he's not.
He says he's in the back room, the back office.
No, he's in the wrong studio. That's why I read the link. He's supposed to be in segment number 1. He's probably in segment number 2.
He's in segment number 2.
Okay, that's all right. There's a lot of information.
Here he is. He's coming.
There we go.
Outstanding. Because we want to, and we're going to have to borrow some time for from our next group. Hi.
How are you, Dr. Anderson?
I'm good.
Unfortunately, today it's not going to be, because we have a special broadcast from 1:30 to 2:30. So that's we're going to have to do a rain check, I guess, if we're going to bring Tyrone back on the program if we run out of time.
We're always happy when people are this informative. We're always happy to get that taste and then bring them back for a deeper conversation. So no worries there.
All right, ladies, take the microphone. It's your show. I'll be listening, and I'll jump in if I have any questions or two. Okay.
And Linda, lead the way.
Well, welcome to the show, Dr. Grandison. I want to hop into it because we want to get as much conversation. We were just having a really good conversation around the data that's driving the economy as it relates to COVID-19. And you are a top subject matter expert. We're going to give you a chance to let's do a quick self-introduction and let the listeners and the viewers know who you are, because you have an illustrious background and you're perfect for the conversation that we just led into about data warehousing, how COVID, all that good stuff. So can you let us know?
Fantastic. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm honored to be here. So background quickly, I am a data scientist and a software engineer, 30 years in the business. I have multiple different roles across startups, nonprofits, federal government, you name it. I've worked at IBM Research, and I've also led data initiatives at the Department of Commerce. Today, what I'm currently doing is the Chief Technology Officer at Pearl Long-Term Care Solutions. And at Pearl, what we're aiming to do is revolutionize the long-term care space. We want to connect consumers, people that have needs in terms of finding a community or finding care, with the ideal match for them, but do it in a way that is actually trustworthy and seamless, so they can actually, from start to finish, from finding and searching for a home to actually booking it and getting moved in, they can do most of those things online. I'm going to stop there.
You don't have to stop. There's so much. You so condensed if we had to just do your accolades, maybe even the top 20, most people would be aghast. So, there's so much to you that it's really interesting to hear you condense it down to that. And Pearl is very, very fortunate to have you.
They really are, and this is our triple play. You're the triple play.
Exactly.
So share a little bit about your background. Includes serving as the first chief information officer for a very important organization that looks at health metrics, and we are now living off of nothing but health metrics. Can you give us a little bit of what does that mean to us as we contemplate the economy and its restart, but also continue to look at these numbers and not get so cavalier about them, what they really mean to us?
Again, so the first thing I always say to people is just like, data is wonderful. It's better to be data informed than data driven. And behind every single data you have, there is a person. There's a human being that you have to factor in and that you have to consider, right? So that's the very first ground level. So at the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, IHME, as it's fondly called, I was the CIO there. It meant that I had technology, I had in-house ops, I had their cloud ops, I had their data management. And what we did there was we basically figured out what were the diseases, the risk factors, the injuries that caused people to die and have lower quality life, right?
Wow.
For every single city in every single country in the world.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, so IHME, if you look at, or you're looking at any of the models that the White House or CDC or WHO is actually basing their recommendations on, that all comes from IHME.
Wow. Well, listen, can you help me?
We have like a million. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Just one question. You said it's it's important to be data informed as opposed to data driven. Can you clarify that for me? And please excuse my ignorance on that.
Oh, no worries. So data driven means that you're using the data that you get and you're basically automatically saying that a decision is going to be made from that data that you have. Data informs means that you're actually getting the data, but you're recognizing that there is some nuance, there's some interrogation that has to happen to the data for you to actually make sense of it, for you to figure out if the data that you're getting has any ethical or moral flaws in it. The data that you're getting actually matches with the reality that you want to actually create, right? So data-driven will actually perpetrate a lot of things that you don't want to actually perpetrate. But data-informed means that there's a human in the loop that looks at it and figures out, like, is it really necessary, and how do I actually massage it to make sure it fits into like the world we're trying to create.
Wow.
That is so applicable.
That's my nugget for this moment.
Yes, and so we forgot to do our tradition. We take notes, so we actually have our orange wall notebook and pens because we are always needing to learn. We hope that individuals take notes as well. That alone really helps us to understand why we are getting the ongoing reports, because some people would criticize the news media or those who keep this data metric around caseloads and numbers of deaths and so forth. But it's critical because it helps us to connect up policy development. Would you say that's true?
That is exactly true. So at IHME, the entire goal, the entire push is that if you don't know what the current state of affairs is, then you can't figure out what you should actually tackle, and you can't figure out what you need to put in place, right? Wow. So by providing people with the data and allowing them to interrogate, say, you know, Zimbabwe, you have diphtheria and mental health problems. The policymakers should focus on those two things, right? That is the entire focus of this entire field, is how do you make sure that people have the necessary tools to make the correct decisions for the people that they're serving.
Outstanding. I've often wondered, I don't know, Carolyn, if you've had this thought, but maybe you can shed some light, because I was just amazed by Johns Hopkins University, their data center that immediately came out as a forefront for collecting the data, being a credible source, and then reporting that out, and how they are able to capture that data in almost, it seems like real time, I guess, I don't know. How is that the health information system all linked and connected by some supercomputer out there, some wonderful, how does that work? I don't know.
I wish. I mean, I can only speak to abstract because I don't know what Johns Hopkins is doing behind the curtain. But what I'm guessing, and what most people do, is that they have either data scrapers, so things that look at dedicated websites that host the data that they're interested in, and they have some piece of code that looks at that particular website every 5 minutes or every minute, and they actually scrape it. They actually get all information from that website and they put it into their own platforms. And then they use that to actually build their dashboards or build their visualizations. It's like that's a part of what we actually did at iChimney as well as if you have agreements with different entities like the WHO or CDC or countries that want to provide you with their data so you can actually help them.
And so those are, I would imagine, policy driven, because it makes us wonder, how do we then allocate resources? You know, that data becomes informed, then creates financial appropriations in how we appropriate our funding and our financial resources, human resources, like FEMA or Department of Defense or all these response organizations mobilize. They are not going to go to the least COVID intense communities. Rather, the data is helping them to be informed to come to the ones where there's the hot spots and what they need to do for that. Would that be? Let's hope that happens.
I mean, I hope it happens that way, but I'm going to say it depends upon what the agency and what the people are optimizing for. So if they're optimizing just, as one particular bureau for themselves to make whatever metrics that they're being evaluated on, make those look good, then it may not, hopefully it is in the best interest of the public, but it may not be, right?
Wow.
I want to know what we need to know.
That's
exactly.
So is that kind of the backbone of the technology that you're bringing forward for Pearl? Is that building that collective infrastructure that will allow collapsing, if you will, if that's the appropriate terminology, or scrubbing that data from all those different providers that will populate and be a part of this new platform?
Yeah, so we're taking a multiple pronged approach. Like what we want to do is have people, providers, come on the platform and work with them. We want to actually co-create the platform with them. So they provide the information, they provide the details that are necessary. We help them figure out like what the market looks like in their particular region. And the whole thing is just to create a trustworthy environment where people know if they get some care or some home on the platform itself, it's going to be high quality and it will not be something that they're going to actually rate negatively afterwards, right?
Can I ask you this, because I'm literally, one of Linda's favorite words is fascinating, and I think that's a fascinating word. But one thing that fascinates me, first of all, if you can make this succinct, how in the world did you get so interested in data and information in this way? And then how in the world did Pearl land you? So, I just want to know.
So I became interested in data. Oh God, I'm going to date myself right now. Back in the 90s, just to say that. And back in the 90s, like the internet age was taking off, and you had these startups that were raising a lot of money on like slideware, on ideas, but no product, no value, no usefulness. And what I kind of realized at that point, and the reason why I kind of took the path I did academically, was that at the very onset, like everything is going to be a commodity software-wise, and the value that's going to differentiate a company from other companies is going to be how they leverage and use and grab the insights from the data and make it into something that makes their operations like more efficient. So I like to think ahead a little bit. So seeing that was the case, like I went to school to study data security and privacy and data analytics, and that's what I did. So that's how I found interest there. How did I land at Pearl? I so happened to work with the CEO, Maisha, when I was the Deputy Chief Data Officer for the department, U.S. Department of Commerce in D.C. And I forget what her title was at the Department of Health and Human Services. But we met there, like became fast friends, and knew that we wanted to work together. And the idea of Pearl got birthed with her experiences with long-term care, and it just so happens that my mom is named Pearl as well, which is
Three of you, mom. Oh,
which
God.
is interesting. And obviously, I thought, destiny, we have to do this.
Wow. Well, can I get into the Pearl Club, because my birthstone is Pearl?
Oh, yes. Come on in.
Dr. Grandison, can you share with us? You have an amazing, beautiful accent. Where are you from? Where is that accent coming from? Is that New York?
Bless you. Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, Jamaica.
And so as you connect in, are you seeing that same type of discipline, that data collection, that informatics and health metric data-driven, data-informed activity within the Caribbean diaspora?
So sadly, no. I think there's interest. And the issue there is training, right? You have to build capacity first. And you have to get the right people with the right experiences down there to train the next generation and have them be like trainers. So we are doing some things like in my off time with the University of West Indies in Trinidad and Tobago and in university in Jamaica as well to figure out how do we actually build that capacity, but that's like a multi-year program.
That's great. I can see the true value, particularly as we look at the various weather incidences and what does that mean, because that's anything is data that helps to predict and mitigate and plan for, or not necessarily in that order, the various incidences that can impact quality of life.
Yep, exactly. Like
Anthony, you've popped into our short questions. You must have something on your mind.
No, the clock, the time. I apologize. We're at what is it? It's 1:32. My apologies.
1:32 already.
We're at 128.
Yeah.
Love it. Bring out the clock.
We're at 128.
128. We want our 2 minutes. That must be U.S. Virgin Islands time.
No. Clock's all over.
All right. Well, what we can do is we are absolutely going to get Dr. Grandison back. There's no question, for a different day.
Please,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I look forward, Doctor, to learning more about the Pearl organization. I think we've been getting a lot of information, the work you guys are doing. Long-term care is vital, and I believe that you guys are doing some good work in the community.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you for the time. And let me know when you want to reschedule.
Soon. So this month, October, we'll be right back in touch with you, and we'll be a much longer conversation. We appreciate your time, your background, and most importantly, the work that you're doing to bring that platform to bear next year, 2021.
Thank you. And we appreciate the conversation and you hosting it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So much.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, ladies, we will segue over to the next segment. If you're more than welcome to join on the next segment if you would like. But I'm going to join our colleagues on the other side of the segment here.
Wonderful.
All right.
I just want to say hello, and then we're gonna.
Thank you so much. All right.
All right.